Welcome to On Air with Trebas, the podcast where we share real stories, real journeys, and real insights. I'm Eduardo Soares, I'm your host today, and I'm very proud to have here Sebastian Pineda Bonilla. He's a music producer, sound engineer, and former graduate from Trebas Institut. Sebastian, glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, Sebastian, we're going to start from the beginning. You know, you talked here earlier that you started your career with a band, you were a musician, right. And now you're more of a technical side of the business. So can you introduce us how you started into the music industry?
Right. Well, music has always been present in my life, I have to say. Ever since I'm a little kid, even, I will say. But the real thing started when I started studying music in Colombia. I graduated actually from contemporary music, but it was always like a career on more on the performance side of things, never in the more technical stuff. It's always music performer, jazz, and all of that. So that's the beginning of my background will be that. Then after that, over the years, I started like self-teaching myself a lot of stuff related to more technical stuff, like more about music production, audio engineering. But that was always a thing on my own. And I have to say that what actually got me into doing that was the pandemic, right? Yeah. During pandemic, it was a very hard time for everybody in this industry, right? Everything was closed, so it was tough to just having something to do, right? Yeah. Especially me as a performer, no gigs, no concerts. Exactly. So it's a little bit more rough.
And is that what brought you here to Canada, to learn more and gather more information about the production side of the business?
Right. Well, I have to be honest with you. I've never had like that dream of leaving my country. I have to be honest with you, because the thing is that back then in Colombia, right, I had my band, and that was my project. That was my life project. That was my everything, right? With the lockdown and the pandemic, it kind of like changed, because after we got out of the lockdown, there was very few things to do. Like, you know, nobody was going to concerts. It was very rough just to get music going. And usually this kind of process with a band takes up to 10 years at least to actually do something very important, which I was very down to do so, but just the pandemic kind of like made things slower, right?
Yeah.
So I really never had that dream of, I want to go to Canada or whatever. But the thing is that eventually you're in social media, right? And something just popped up. I saw this post, Trebas offering scholarships. I said, well, let's take a look into that.
Let's give it
a try, right? Why not? I like to take risk. So I said, why not? Let's just try it, see what happens. 2 weeks later, I have an acceptance, an approval. They invited me. They granted me a scholarship based on my background, and that's when I said, well, why not, right? Also, like in a city like Montreal, that is like is an industry, is very big in the industry.
It's a very artistic city.
It's a very artistic city, right? And so I said, why not?
Yeah, cool. And as you said, you were a musician first and an artist first, with the artist mentality,
right?
You know, and then you had to kind of like switch and get out of your comfort zone to learn more about engineering and those processes. How did Trebas help you excel on those skills?
Well, I mean, Trebas helped a lot, you know, because just the fact that the Trebas teaches you basically on everything that's industry standard, right? For example, Pro Tools, that's a big industry standard. If you want to ever work in this industry, you have to know how to use that. So just having those tools available for me, and having the spaces and the studios and all the resources that Trebas provides, even teachers, I would say they're resources, because they give you like life experiences, lessons, right? Because this industry and everything related to arts, it's all about experience. And if you end up with the right teacher, with the right experience, you're gonna learn a lot, and your experience is gonna be better, and your knowledge is gonna increase like a lot. Yeah.
And the artist language is very different as well for the producer
Yeah.
language. You know, you're gonna talk in different ways. You're gonna view the world in different ways.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little better the difference between of them and how being a musician and also studying the music producing side
Right.
helped you connect and maybe even like get over a creative slump or something like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, there are two different languages for sure, right? One is more technical, the other one is more artistic. But I will say that they kind of like complemented themselves, you know, because it's easier for you either way. Learn one after the other. That doesn't matter the order, but it's easier to understand the other one if you already know the first one, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, in my case, I already had the music background, which means I knew a lot about concepts in music, music theory, keys, scales, whatever, everything that has to do with music. And then after that, just transposing that into music engineering and music production and recording, it's easier, makes it easier, of course, because you're not thinking about the whole engineering of sound and waves and all of that. You're thinking more about the artistic side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like complements themselves, you know. But yeah, they're two complete different languages, I will say.
Yeah, and learning both of those languages, having both of those skills, I imagine that it was like almost like a game changer when you want to get into the industry. You know, if you want to create a career as a music producer, audio engineer, sound engineer, you have to learn both of them, right?
Yeah.
And what else would you say that is a difference maker when someone wants to get into the music industry?
What's a game changer, I'll say, for getting into the music industry with those?
Any specific software tools?
Well, yeah,
soft
I mean,
skills?
I always say, doesn't matter which tool you're using. You can use industry standards or you can use whatever it's like even free.
Yeah.
It's what you do with it what actually makes the difference, right? So I will say the best advice I can give in that is just kind of like keep yourself always open to everything, you know. Don't always like kind of like limit yourself because you're out of resources, right? And that's actually based on experience, right? Because at the time, of course, when I was self-learning all of that, I didn't have Pro Tools, of course.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big license. It's industry standard. Of course, it's gonna be expensive. But with what I had available on my end, that's what I used to learn. You know, so it's always keep yourself open to everything. You know,
Yeah.
and learn with what you have. And if you have the right tools and you have more tools, use them. You know, always use everything you have at your hand to always improve, right?
Yeah. Talking about tools, we're gonna get in a little bit of a controversial topic,
All right.
you know, which is the use of AI in the music industry.
All right.
Okay. Of course, the technologies are always going to evolve, and we have to adapt. But do you think that people sometimes start using AI and think that by the fact that it's too easy to use a framework like AI, they start to neglect the real skills that you need to have to make a good music or be a good professional?
Yes, I have my thoughts on that because AI is a tool, right? And it has to be used as it. You know,
Yeah.
you cannot always rely completely in that, right? Even I, on my job, still use the AI for some things, you know, because
Yeah.
you never know everything, right? But you have to use it as a tool,
Exactly.
not as an everything. Especially with music AI, I personally use myself a couple of those just to try them because, of course, I'm curious, right? I'm like, what's this,
Yeah.
right? But I have to say that it's getting to a point that it's very scary, for real. Like you can do lots of incredible stuff with AI, but it's still in a very early stage where you can notice that it actually sounds like a robot
Yeah.
doing music, right? So I wouldn't rely completely into that. Even later in the future years, where it actually gets better, I wouldn't still rely on that to completely do music with that, but kind of like use it as a reference, you know, like that's the
Yeah.
way I will use it. Like, I have
I'm out of ideas, right? So what do? I just tell the AI, hey, I need an idea for this. Use that as an idea to inspire your own ideas, you know?
Nice.
That's what I will say on the AI, because it's a tool.
Okay. But now let's switch the focus 100% into your career, you know? Once you got here to Trebas and here to Montreal, how did you got into the music industry here in Canada? And how would you recommend people to act and what to study, what to do if they want to also pursue the job and career?
Right. Well, I will say it's the first thing I will say is that it's never easy. Okay, it's never easy to get into the industry. Montreal, especially, is a very competitive city in that industry, especially. So it's tough to actually get yourself into important roles, I'll say. I will say I was lucky enough that when I first got to Canada and I first started studying at Trebas, right immediately, just with my past experience in Colombia, I got to get a job which I'm still there, right? At a distributor. I won't say the names because I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I work for SFM. It's a distributor for Canada in a lot of AV products, right? So I was lucky enough to get into that job, in a technical job, is where I kind of like I'm allowed to play with a lot of gear, audio gear, right? I'm allowed to do a lot of on-field work as well. That kind of like gets you to know more another side of industry, right? Even though I still kind of like deal with my own personal projects and stuff, and I still use my own music production skills, and I continue learning on it. Right now, in this part of the industry that I'm working with, I'm more into the live sound part of the industry, so it's kind of like I kind of like complement three important things in this industry, like performing, music recording, or music engineering, of course, for studio, and music engineering for live events, which is like, I have three skills now that I never dreamed of back then in my country, So it's a win, everything that's going on here in Canada with the Trebas, with my job right now, and the things that you're constantly learning in this industry, and that's always that I always live by, is that you never stop learning. And just even till today, I'll say I keep learning every single day, even at my job, even outside my own projects, the band I'm playing with as well here in Montreal. I'm always constantly learning, and that's the most important thing for you to get something done in this industry. Like, you have to be open to always learn. Never think of yourself as everything, never do that.
So basically it's a lifelong learning industry. So always studying, always seeking
constantly
knowledge.
Changing as well.
Yes.
Constantly changing, yeah.
Especially because the technology and evolution and all that, especially trends. So new generations, new tastes, and even marketing, if you're going to make music production, audio, video production, is always going to change as well. But you need to be confident on your abilities, and you're not going to get hired if you're not confident in what you know and what you can do, but be humble about it. Always be eager to learn from anyone, any experience.
Right, exactly. Just always keep yourself humble and learn every single day,
Yeah.
And that got me into very, very important and fun part of the industry where I am right now, where I'm very happy, I'll say. And it's fun, and that's actually one of the most important things of all this industry is always keep fun, like have fun.
Yes.
With what you're doing, right? This is not an office job, right? This is not you're like working 8 hours straight and then just riding back home and your life is all great. No, this is a fun job. This is a fun industry. Job. It's a fun industry. Like you're doing fun stuff. It's just that.
So if you're gonna entertain people, get entertained.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah.
So for us to finish, do you have any other insights, tips for anyone who's thinking about not just getting to study more about audio video production, but also want to get into industry and how they can get their first jobs, how to get more knowledge, you know?
My advice, this is just my advice, you know, there's a lot of advices, of course, but my advice is just kind of like take the risk, you know, take the leap and just kind of like let yourself fall into things that may bring you good things, you know? You never know what's waiting on the other side of that door, you know? There's a door always opening for everybody. There's always an opportunity. And if you don't take the risk just because it's unknown for you, you're never gonna get somewhere, you know? I got here to this country just because I saw a small post on Facebook, just because of that, right? And that brought me a lot of opportunities and a lot of stuff.
Thank you so much, Sebastian.
Thanks to you.
That was really insightful. I'm pretty sure everybody home had at least a little thing to learn more about the industry and get more confident about their decisions today. And of course, thank you for everyone who watched On Air with Trebas today. If you like to, make sure to like and subscribe and also share with anyone who you think would benefit from it. I'm Eduardo Suarez. Thank you once again.